Hi, welcome back to our fashion studio, and this series of tutorials that I'm getting ready to start, we're talking about seam finishes that are used in the apparel industry. So the first seam finish that we're going to talk about is using an overlock or a serged edge. So I have two samples here, and I'm going to use knit fabric because this seam finish is used with knits all the time. I'm going to do one with a 3-thread overlock machine and one with a 4-thread so that you'll see the difference, and we'll talk about what the differences are for the application. So I'm going to just pick up one of the sides. I already have the two pieces of material sitting together, and this machine is, I have the 4 threads set up, and it has 2 needles, which means the first needle closest to the inside will be the stitch line that goes through to help with the overlock, and the second needle is actually going to be the seam line, the stitch line. I have my blade down, so it's going to be cutting the material if it is frayed at all. Mine is pretty straight, so it probably won't cut too much. It is a little loud, but we don't have very much that we're going to stitch. So get it tucked under there so it'll get started better. Here we go. When you're stitching with an overlock machine, because there is a blade, you have to be very careful to make sure your material is always flat. If you get it bunched up underneath it for some reason, as a lot of material is coming up, especially if it's a fine material, you can easily cut a hole in it. I speak from experience. I don't have my scissors real close, so I'm just gonna cut that off with the blade. Now you can see the 4th thread is this stitch line clear to the side. The inside needle is that reinforcing stitch, so if something happened to the outside stitch, the inside stitch would keep it from coming open, and then you have your overlock. If you look at the back, it looks really nice. You can tell the difference. Sorry, the colors, you probably can't see that lighter color. I wanted to be able to see all the different threads for their tension. That's why the colors are different. But it's doing a really smooth, nice job. A lot of knits are made with this double seaming because that's the only seaming that they have. So when you look and you open this up, and if this was a shirt, you can see how secure it is. So as it pulls. We're going to move back over here so you can see better. And I'm going to do a quick stitch of the 3-thread so we can compare them and look at the difference. So I'm going to take this next one, and I'm going to use my machine that's set up here that has the 3 threads with the 1 needle. I'm going to push that under there. They're exactly the same. As far as function here, you have your blade that cuts off if it has any frayed edges, and it's noisy as well. Going to trim here. So now you can see, we'll look at those kind of side by side. You can see how this one just has the 1 line for the seam. So this one has the 2 seams, and the overlock is actually more narrow because it's only reaching to the farthest stitch line. So if I put a 4th thread in there and that 2nd needle, this would look as wide as that one. Now if we open this up, you can see that it's secure as well, that it is pulling just a little bit more than what the other one was pulling. This one, it even feels more secure. So those are the 2 differences. Now, if you look at some of your knits, this is the construction they use for t-shirts. I fix a lot of holes in the armholes, especially around the back of armholes in t-shirts. And if you look at the construction, many of them use just a single needle overlock. And if that gets a pressure point where it pulls open, that's where you'll create or see the hole. So this one, the 4-thread is more secure than the 3-thread. You can also use these different techniques with wovens. The shirt that I showed you at the beginning introduction had a 4-thread as well, but this is mainly the construction for knits. You can also see that the serged edge that I used with the knit, both pieces are together as they're being sewn together, where on the flat woven, I did that in a single layer. So those are the differences between your 3-thread and your 4-thread seam finish from a serger or an overlock machine. Used in the industry all the time. This is one of your cheapest construction for production because it's just one single swipe and it takes care of a lot. So this is for your serged edge, and when you come back, the second tutorial will be on another seam finish from the industry. So stay tuned and watch the next tutorial.